Hey everybody, it's Nathaniel Avila reporting from Dallas County, and I'm here with the cat.
Clara Avila, also reporting from Dallas County.
And we're also here with Cat.
Yes, there are two cats, and it's not their names, and you know that.
And what are we gonna talk about?
I suppose we're going to talk about what we always talk about.
Taking over the world.
That's right, taking over the world. No, we're going to be looking at Reddit to see who is the butthole.
Yes, we're gonna talk. This is a Hell of a Boss Has Been Hotel podcast.
No, it's not.
So, Clara, who's your favorite character?
Can we read the Reddit?
Mine is Batman.
That's not a character in either of those shows, so let's just go ahead and get started with the first one.
Mine is Spider-Man.
Nathaniel,
There's a Spider-Man in there, though.
there is a man who is a spider in there. Yes, that's not his name is not Spider-Man.
Oh.
Can you read the first one?
Okay. AITA for abandoning my parents on an island in the Caribbean so that I could get back to our cruise in time.
What?
It's a kind of a weird way of saying it.
All right. I mean, I feel like through that wording, you already feel like you're the butthole because you've blatantly said you've abandoned them. All right, let's hear.
I graduated from high school back in December. As a gift, my parents got me a cruise. It was also for my 18th birthday. It was also a family vacation. We usually stay at an all-inclusive resorts, but I have always wanted to go on a cruise. I told my parents it was different and that if we went on excursions, we had to follow the schedule no matter what. Well, it was a long week cruise, and they would not head back to the ship when I said it was time to go. They were busy shopping and bargaining with the locals. Finally, I said I was heading back to the ship. My mom waved me off. They missed the departure by 45 minutes. They got a hold of me through WhatsApp. They wanted to know why I didn't get on the boat to wait. Why I didn't get the boat to wait for them. What? I wanted to scream that they're not going to inconvenience 3,998 people because two could not understand what a schedule was. They ended up having to fly to the next port from there, and it was expensive.
Yep.
They're peeved at me for leaving them behind. I don't know what I was supposed to do. They literally told me that they knew what they were doing. I wish I never asked for this. They're making me miserable because I left without them. What do you think?
I mean, is this a... They're right. This is a cruise. It's a lot different from a resort in which you have time to mill about and do whatever you want to do because you're not on a boat that could leave at like a specific time. Like it has to leave at a specific time.
Mm-hmm.
So you don't have that option of taking your time and doing whatever you want to do. When there is a departure time, you get there before the departure time. Because if not, you are stuck on that island.
I wonder what island it was.
I don't know. Some island in the Caribbean, he said.
Okay. So, like, I think this person didn't abandon them. I think they abandoned themselves.
Yeah.
And this person did say...
He said, tried to get the parents to hurry up and come with them because it was time for the ship to leave.
And them thinking that, why didn't you
ask the ship to wait for us?
This giant cruise to wait for us.
There are so
like it's a
many
taxi?
other people on the cruise who would be inconvenienced by the departure being, what's the word? I forgot. Not on time.
I like how they chose it like it's a taxi or something. Like, jeez Louise. So what do you think? Yes, butthole? No, butthole?
I mean, I'd say no.
I say no butthole too.
Just because of the parents should have listened.
And then being all angry and stuff about it. That stinks.
Yeah.
Why did you leave? Why did you answer? And you did say, like, I'm heading back to the ship, and they like,
waved
whatever.
them off.
but thinking that this person is gonna tell the captain to stop the ship. Like what?
Cruises run on a very tight schedule, so you gotta follow it.
Let's see what the people of Reddit have to say. AITA! They seriously think the ship will delay for 45 minutes?
That's it, delay. That was it.
Yeah, no. The docks and ship have a schedule to keep. They are adults. They need to be responsible for getting back on time, which is something you have figured out in less than 6 months of being an adult. At least you don't have to go on any more vacations with them after this. Nata! Your parents are acting entitled. Tell them you saved them the expense of a third ticket to the next port. And then, your parents are in the wrong. I don't do cruises, but I have experience with them because I travel to a place where cruise ships are common. I also thought passengers were warned that if a ship leaves, no matter who is on board, you would never have been able to prevent the cruise ship from leaving. I think it's cruise ship.
Yep.
They have a schedule and they keep to it. The ship waits for no one.
Yep.
This is all on your parents. They didn't respect the ship schedule. Nata. So yeah, there's that. Next. AITA for... Oops, I didn't mean to do that.
Oh, malfunction.
AITA for telling my stepdaughter she can have her dead dad pay for the wedding. What's with these titles? Why these titles about?
The heck? Okay.
I may have gone too far.
Oh, no.
My now wife divorced her ex. When her 3 kids were young, he was an addict. She met me a few years later, and we dated for 2 years. Biofre, I think you meant to say before. She introduced me to her kids.
Biofre.
2 kids really hit it off. And Kelly did not like me. Just passive-aggressive stuff, but it became much worse when her dad passed away. She did not take it well and resulted in a lot of outbursts. I wasn't living there at this time. She went to therapy, but overall didn't seem like it helped. She threatens to run away if I married their mom. So I stayed away, but continued to date their mom. Over time, the 2 other kids started to stay at my place in order to get away from the drama. It was more rough time for them, and we bonded even more. When Kelly was 18, the 2 of us decided to stop putting our life on hold and get married. Kelly really hated this. The other kids were happy though. Every interaction. Get out of here. Every interaction I've had with her has been unpleasant, and I don't not see her one of my kids. Very great. I eventually adopted her siblings when they were 16 and 17. They asked me. During that time, she destroyed a lot of her siblings' stuff for betraying their dad.
Wow.
Wrong from over there. Now I rarely see her, and I prefer it that way. The 2 kids have a one and off relationship. I paid for my 2 kids' weddings. I got a call from her asking me to pay for her wedding since I paid for the other 2. I told her no. This started an argument about how it's unfair. I had enough and told her to have her dad pay for the wedding. She hung up after some lovely names. I may have gone too far, which makes me a jerk. What do you think?
What do you think?
I think she can dish it out, but she can't take it.
Wow.
It's true.
I mean, that is a pretty intense thing to say, but like after all those years and like to be demanded, I want you to pay, even though she never made an effort.
And she made it perfectly clear that she hates his guts.
Yeah, she doesn't like him at all. So why would he pay for her wedding? And technically, she's not his kid because he didn't adopt her.
Mm-hmm. And she is an adult now.
And she's an adult.
We have an update.
Oh, an update.
She is 27 right now.
Okay.
End of update.
All right, she's 27.
Yeah, that's the update.
The update is she's 27.
Yeah. So Yeah, I don't think this guy's the butthole. I think he's beating himself a little bit too much up over it because he seems to be really upset.
It's a harsh thing to say to somebody, but like, was it deserved? Maybe. After all of those like things that she's done, but like she did a lot of those things when she was a kid. Except for maybe tearing apart her siblings' things. She might have been 18 when she did that.
Yeah. And even now, like, is like acting like, hey guy, pay for my stuff.
Pay for my stuff. You pay for my sibling stuff. Well, yeah, those are his actual kids.
And also they actually like him. And like, why is he going to waste energy and money on you who you don't like and you don't care about? Why is he going to do that?
Exactly.
So I think that's a bit mean, like not cool of her to think.
Very mean-spirited
and really uncool of her to say.
Yep.
And him being all like, why don't you get your dead junkie dad to do it?
Okay.
Oh wait, he's dead and a junkie.
He definitely didn't say all of that.
He did say, why don't you get your
He did say, why don't you get your dead dad to pay for it, but he didn't emphasize the junkie part.
Yeah. And she was like, oh. He's like, yeah, like she hasn't been dishing it out for like all those years.
Yeah.
And now he like says one thing back, and then she's like, oh. So, let's see what the people of Reddit have to say.
What do the people have to say?
Yeah, I get it. It was a stupid, hurtful, immature thing to say, but I get it. I understand this was the oldest girl and probably closest to her father, and of course she probably resented the divorce. But that's something you should grow out of. Once her father died, you think it might have opened her heart a little. But apparently this was not to be. And so be it. It's her life, it's her choice. But it takes a lot of balls to then come skipping back and wanting you to pay for her wedding, exclamation mark. I don't blame you for refusing, but I'm curious as to what your wife thinks. A tiny AITA in the comment, a big nata for not paying for the wedding. And then OP says, yeah, it was petty. Thinking about it, it was resentment building up for how many time I just took her anger. It was like finally standing up to a bully. After so many years of taking it, it sure felt great to give it back, no matter how petty it was. And then another person says, you had the right to explode, but don't expect her to ever even attempt to maintain a relationship with you now. And don't be shocked if her mother loses a lot of contact too. I'm going to say Nata, given the circumstances, but you implicated more people here than just yourself. And then OP says, I would love if she never talked to me again. With my wife, they already had a bad relationship and they haven't talked at all. So I doubt that will change anything. Okay. So there, at least like nothing was lost, I guess. Esh. I don't know what that means. Kelly obviously took it too far by practically forbidding her mom from moving on and for punishing her siblings and deciding to bond with you, but still having a dead parent is something traumatic, and you bringing it up just to make a point in an argument is really low. And then OP says, fair, that's what I thought. Let's see. Esh. You were in the right to say no. Yeah, that's what they said. Esh. You were in the right to say no. You would have...
Oh, you mean Ish?
Ish, yeah, maybe.
Okay, keep going.
You have every right to say no. You'd have been in the right to say, because I pay for my kids' weddings, but swinging at her dead dad was a bit too far. I think Esh means like both of them are the butthole. I think that's what that means. Yeah, everyone stinks here.
Okay.
What do you think?
I mean, there's a lot of culture around, being the better man and not stooping to their level. and all of that sort of thing. But we're all just humans. There are moments when we make the same mistakes as other people. And he's said this one thing. I don't know. Maybe he said more. I don't know if this is the first time he's done it. Well, I'm just saying because, you know, we don't know everything about this person. We know what he's telling us. But going off the assumption that this is the first time he's ever said something like this to her. Mm-hmm. Like, obviously, it is, as I've said before, it's a harsh thing to say. It's very coming from a place of resentment and malice, probably.
Yeah, well, after years and years of being
But, exactly, I was about to say, but that's after years and years and years of taking all of her BS, right? Yeah. And her hate and her malice. And in that moment to just, you know, let that win and let that take over and to say those words.
And to be like
I think that that's a very human thing to do.
And, yeah, you really, like, said, like, thought of the worst possible thing you can think of and just like went
and let it go
like a real home run slam dunk touchdown Hail Mary of a comment. And that was like the one time he finally had enough, he said like the most like blam thing,
and that's what happens sometimes.
So do you think Reddit is right by saying esh?
Not necessarily. Just because I do believe that there are moments where we can't... What are you doing? Stop it. Hey, come here. Sorry. There are moments where we've just had too much, you know? And even the nicest person can say the meanest thing. And it's because, like, after all of those years of just keeping it in and holding it in, you know, sometimes you just can't anymore. Mm-hmm. And things like this happen. So I don't think that it makes him a butthole.
What do you think about the people who are saying that he is the butthole?
I think that those people they probably have a very strong sense of, you know, self-righteousness and justice. Okay. Well, I'm just saying.
Yeah, I believe you.
You wanted my opinion,
yes.
And you're gonna laugh at it?
No.
I think you're the butthole right now. No, I'm just kidding. I think that it's a very common and normal thing for people to see this, and because we're taught that, you know, a lot of people are taught that we should always, you know, turn the other cheek, be the better man, take the high road, right? Mm-hmm. And when people don't do that, right, they're in the wrong. And, you know, they're the bad person now. And now we've stooped to the other person's level. Mm-hmm. And I just think that there should be a little bit more leeway for that. But I know that that's not how it always is.
Yep. So let's keep going. GIF, who's 28 female, changed her phone password, and now I, 29 male, can't access it anymore. What do I do?
What the heck?
I've been in a relationship with my girlfriend for a few years now. We've been living together for about a year. We've had our ups and downs. There's an issue that's really been bothering me lately. My girlfriend recently changed her password on her phone, and now I can't access it anymore.
What?
Previously, I knew her password and I could use her phone when needed. I never felt controlling because she never made a fuss about it until now. Oh. My girlfriend is somewhat active on social media, and she has lots of friends on Snapchat and has lots of followers on Instagram. She is always posting photos and chatting to her friends. She has a lot of male followers, and I'm worried about the kinds of men she is getting attention from.
Oh.
That's one of the reasons why I want to monitor her.
Oh.
And make sure she is staying safe and not getting harassed or bothered by any of these guys. Mm-hmm. Sure. Yesterday, I used her phone just to check up on her, and that's when I found out she had changed her password. I asked her about it, and she said she wanted to have a bit more privacy. I don't understand. I let her use her phone by herself. She has lots of privacy. I explained to her that it made me feel more secure knowing that I could access her phone, and that it was important for me to have that level of trust and openness in our relationship. Mm-hmm. She said she understands but still wants her privacy. I'm struggling with this because I don't understand why she felt the need to change it all of a sudden. It feels like a steep backward in a relationship, and I'm finding it hard to shake the feeling that she's keeping something from me. How should I handle this situation? Please don't come at me. Only comment if you have genuine advice.
Please don't come at me.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I guess we should not come at him and give him genuine advice.
My genuine advice is you're a weirdo.
My genuine
you're a controlling butt
advice is, do you not trust her?
She has all these guys.
Is she untrustworthy to you? Because it feels like this is a matter of trusting your partner.
I like how he likes to say, like, I want to trust you.
At first, he really had me in the first half, because I thought that this was like a mutual thing. Like, they have access to each other's phones and they'll use it every now and then. Mm-hmm. And now all of a sudden she's changed it, which is suspicious. But then he continued, and I realized that it's not that situation, and that he is controlling.
Mm-hmm. That's like kind of weird. Yeah.
Using the ability to look into her phone to, quote unquote, keep tabs on her, monitor her,
to make sure she's not
being harassed. Sure, man, tell yourself that.
She's a girl on the internet. I'm pretty sure she is, but she's her own woman.
She could probably handle it herself. She's probably dealt with it for most of her time.
She's probably blocking all those guys, blocking all those dudes, and this guy is kind of weird that he's not respecting that, and he's also kind of being like a butthole, being all like trying to do the Uno reverse card on her, and being all like, I need you to trust me. You're the weirdo here.
If you want me to trust you, you gotta let me. I will feel so much better if you just let me look into your phone whenever I want. And I let you use your phone alone all of the time. That's a lot of privacy. That's enough privacy.
That's enough privacy.
That's enough privacy. Now give me your new phone. Your new phone password. So I can look into your social media and see who you're talking to.
Why does he sound like Sebastian?
I don't know.
From all these girls, these teenagers, you gotta let them free.
Oh no, I was doing a bit of a different voice. It doesn't have as much of an accent. Alright, hold on, don't sing.
What?
They might catch it.
Okay. Give me your password, and then I'll stalk the girl. That's not funny.
That's not.
Okay, anyway, let's see what the people at Reddit have to say.
Yes.
I want to monitor her. I used her phone to check up on her. I let her use her phone by herself. Bro, you're not a father to a preteen. You're supposed to be a partner. Only controlling, paranoid, abusive partners behave and speak this way. I've been married for a long time, and I have an open phone policy with my husband because we trust each other not to abuse boundaries. That's how you gain trust. You strong-arming her out of a reasonable expectation of privacy is a surefire path to singledom. And then the cross emojis.
Yep.
Advice would be that she's an adult woman and doesn't need to be monitored. You don't need her phone to check up on her, quote unquote. And then another person says, "You seem to me you want to control her life," which looks like it.
Yep.
And then OP responds with, "I don't want to control anything. I just want to make sure she's not getting into any trouble."
What does that mean?
Negative 1,000 downvotes.
Yeah.
Why do you think she, a grown but adult, needs your help? Hint, she does not.
Yeah.
So, yeah. This guy is definitely the butthole. Especially, yeah, because, definitely. I just want to make sure she's not getting in any trouble because she's a dumb dummy and I need to protect her and stuff.
Definitely the butthole.
Yeah. AITA for insisting my 52M daughter? What does that mean? 52-month daughter? My 52 male. I'm that guy. The OP is 52 male.
Yeah, the OP is 52 male.
And the daughter is 22 female. Attend my wedding. Insisting my 52 male, daughter, who's 22F, female, attend my wedding. Okay.
Okay. Let's hear it.
I have always been close with my daughter, even more so after the death of my late wife, her mother. For the past 16 years, it has been just the two of us against the world. I have been enthusiastically present for every part of her life, very much the doting and dutiful father. I admit I have been a bit of a helicopter parent, and I have been taking hands-on approach to staying involved in my daughter's life. I was involved in all of her extracurricular activities from the time she could walk. My daughter welcomed my participation until her teen years. She didn't like that I would engage in casual relationships with her friends' mothers. Okay. Okay, I got scared for a second. I thought you said my casual relationships with her friends, and then I heard mothers. Okay, that's a bit more acceptable.
That's funny.
I did my best to be discreet, but usually got out. Particularly intolerable to my daughter was a long-term sexual relationship I had with the mother of her best friend that began when my daughter was 12 and continued until she was 18. During that period, we frequently included her friend and her friend's mother on vacations and events. Her friend's father was often away on business, so I took it on myself. Okay, that's a bit weird.
No.
So I took it on myself to fulfill paternal duties in his absence. What?
Wow.
When my daughter became aware of sexual nature of my relationship with her friend's mother, I ended the relationship at my daughter's insistence. I still included her friend on our holidays, but merely missed the company of her mother. On a recent trip to Bali, my daughter's friend confessed that she had intimate feelings for me.
No.
I had never thought of that, and insisted we not engage in any sexual behavior for the sake of my daughter while on vacation.
While on vacation?
I don't know why he's like, usually you would be like, absolutely not. And not like,
I am your friend's father.
Not like, well, maybe not on vacation.
Maybe not on vacation while I'm with my daughter.
My daughter, she just doesn't like that.
For her case,
yeah, I know.
Do that while on vacation.
Lame. She's so lame, right? If she wasn't here, I totally would.
Oh my gosh.
Okay. Okay. Upon returning home, however, this young woman and I struck up an intense and passionate affair.
Yep.
Long story short, we are to be married in July.
Wow!
Oh, goodness. I expected my daughter to be happy for me, and so did my now fiancé, who graciously asked my daughter to be her maid of honor.
Wow.
Not only did my daughter refuse, she also stated she will not attend the wedding at all.
Wow.
I spent my entire life putting her happiness ahead of my own, and I deeply want to at least share in my happiness. AITA for insisting my daughter attend my wedding.
So first of all, that's not the question you should be asking.
I think you should be asking, am I the butthole for marrying my daughter's friend who I knew when she was a child?
Who I've known since she was a child.
I was a father figure.
Father figure sleeping with her mother, who was a married woman.
Mm-hmm.
That's the question you should be asking.
Yeah. Yeah, this guy straight up like, did I groom this girl? I think you did.
You did. He can't. This can't have just happened. She can't have just been like, oh my gosh, this person who's like my father, suddenly I'm very attractive to him.
And him being all like, we should totally do it.
Like, this is not something that just happens out of nowhere. Like, there had to have been something else that he did or said with her that would give her the idea that this is okay.
Mm-hmm. And him not stopping it.
Which
is a bit weird. And then them marrying. That's weird.
The biggest problem, so age gaps are always like, people are like, oh, love is but a number. Love is whatever. Age is but a number. I don't know what I'm saying. But in this case, a lot of the time it's all about when you meet the person. So like if you have a 20-year age gap, if so long as you met as an adult, that's fine. Mm-hmm. Right? Even
then, like if you are a 30-year-old and you meet someone who's 18,
that's sketchy.
That's still a bit,
because that's a new adult.
Yeah, that's still a bit odd.
However, this guy knew this girl since she was a child.
Mm-hmm.
That's wrong.
That is wrong. You get 2 thumbs down from me.
2 thumbs down from me. And
it kind of reminds
if the cats
me,
had thumbs, they'd be giving thumbs down as well.
It kind of reminds me of this other incident involving when Billie Eilish pirated O'Connell. And what?
Can we don't bring up Billie Eilish again?
I only did it once before. She was in a long-term relationship.
This is not a Billie Eilish podcast. Whatever.
With Jesse Rutherford, who was the lead singer of the Neighborhood for a long time, and they met when she was 16.
Okay.
So a lot of her fans did not approve of their relationship, mainly because they met when she was a minor, and now they were dating when she was like 21.
Yeah.
And people viewed that as grooming.
Okay.
Thoughts?
I'm not going to give a thought on that because this is not the Billie Eilish podcast. This is the podcast where we discuss whether or not people are buttholes. Yeah, okay. So if you could please go ahead and tell me what the people of Reddit are saying about this guy.
So do you think that good or bad?
Can we go ahead and see what the people of Reddit are saying about this person?
You're really digging yourself in the hole right here.
Can we see?
I say it's bad, and you got to take a step.
I don't. This is about Reddit. Am I the butthole? Not about Billie Eilish.
So the people of Reddit say, and this is a quote, she didn't like that I would engage in casual relationship with her friends' mothers. And then he says, and this surprises you? And then, I don't know. Like some girls kind of like that. They'll be like, oh my gosh, we could be sisters. Like some people, like, could be a mentality.
Oh my gosh, we could be sisters.
Yeah.
I think all of these were married women.
Oh, with other married women? Then, yeah, that'd be an issue with that.
Yes. I don't know how many of them were married women, but how many single women would there be in the school? I don't know.
Mm-hmm. A long-term sexual relationship I had with the daughter of her best friend that began when my daughter was 12 and continued when she was 18. Her friend's father was often away on business. And then this person had like the big eye emoji, like, and it says, what a polite way of saying I had an affair. And then in quotes, I spent my entire life putting her happiness ahead of my own. And then the person says, no, you haven't. You're very clearly been putting your own quote-unquote needs above your daughter, as evidenced by you sleeping with her friend's mothers and now her best friend? Good grief. AITA, besides an invitation to a wedding, is not a demand to appear. She is an adult and she can go or to skip it. And then OP responds with, I did my best to keep my romantic business private. I never remarried when my daughter was a child. A man has needs. I think refusing a wedding invitation from someone who so obviously loves you and who has taken care of you for 22 years is hurtful.
Uh-huh.
And then the person says, almost as hurtful as your father going on a sexcapade with all your friends' mothers and then your best friend. If your own daughter won't come to the wedding, then it's clear you best fell so short you probably need a shovel to find it. And then OP responds with, perhaps I have done a poor job in raising her despite my best efforts. Okay. And then he says, and then another person says, you did a poor job of keeping your junk in your pants, and you chose to bone your daughter's friends' moms. How exactly is she supposed to keep those friendships with those people when you moved on from that mom onto the next one? And then OP says, by minding her own business?
Wow.
And then another person says, you groomed her friend and you expect her to mind her own business, quote unquote? It seems like she's doing exactly what you want by not coming. Yeah. What's up with this guy being so defensive? Like, oh, my daughter's such a lame-o.
Clearly,
why can't she just mind her own business?
Why can't she putting his pecker?
Like, I like how he's like, oh, I raised you better than just like putting your nose in me boning your friend. And then him like, mind your own business. You could mind your own beeswax. Another person says, AITA. And then quotes, I would engage in casual relations with their friends' mothers, and then he just says, bruh. And then casual long-term relationship with her mother, and then it says bruh. And then my daughter's friend confessed that she had an intimate feelings for me, bruh. And then OP responds with, I can't deny there's an age difference, but we're both consenting adults, and we have known each other for nearly 12 years. Love blossomed.
Wrong. Incorrect.
Wait, so she's 22, and you've known each other for 12 years? You mean when she was 10?
When she was a child.
When she was 10 years old?
Wrong.
You're both consenting adults, but you've known her when she was 10? And that's really messed up. And then another person responds with, known each other for 12 years? You mean to say since she was a child? Is that what you mean?
Mm-hmm.
And you previously dated her mom? So you were on track to maybe being her stepfather, and now you're going to assume a father and then scratch out husband role? Mm-hmm. Yuck.
Mm-hmm.
And then another person says, so you've known her since she was 10, a child? And then for an additional 10 years, 8 years, while she was a child? And then OP responds with, and I was like a second father to her. My conduct was beyond reproach. I treated her the same as my own child. And then another person says, who you are now marrying. And then she says, yes, she's a catch by any measure. Ew. Go away. What did you hear what I said?
Tell it to me again.
She said, I was like a second father to her. I treated her like my own daughter.
Yep.
And then he says, and then another person says, who you are now marrying? And then he was like, yeah, she's a catch by any measure.
Disgusting.
You lose, sir.
You lose. You stole fizzy lifting drinks.
You stole the fizzy lifting drinks, and you have fingerprints all over the ceiling, which now need to be washed. You lose.
You lose.
You go
terrible.
You go straight to jail. You do not pass go. You do not collect $200. Go straight to jail.
Disgusting.
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 And then another person says, this is disgusting.
Disgusting.
You should be ashamed of yourself. What a sad excuse for a quote-unquote father you are. And now you're upset that she isn't supporting your disgusting quote-unquote relationship? Gross. AITA for every possible level. And then OP responds with, for 16 years I have put her every need ahead of my own, made every sacrifice.
Wrong.
One day seems like a small ask. All I've done is just bone her friends' mothers. That's what I call being selfless. I'm not saying I'm a hero, but I'm kind of a hero.
Yeah. That's just not good.
And then another person says, you spend her childhood effing her friends' moms, having an affair with one of them, and then start dating her friend, who's presumably her own age. There's nothing admirable about you or your actions. You put your own needs first. Stop kidding yourself. It's not working here. And then OP responds with, I think you're oversimplifying some things and looking for the worst. I did everything I could to insulate my mother from my romantic business. That's so weird. And then another person says, insulating her from your romantic businesses would mean that you don't F her friends' moms. So you didn't do that at all. And then OP responds with, You're far too crass, good sir. I have loved and romanced these women.
Ha!
Who are you fooling, dude? What are you, freaking Don Juan DeMarco?
Wow.
Get out of here. Oh, you're far too crass, good sir. I have loved and I have romanced these women.
I have given them the things that their husbands never could. Passionate.
And then another person says, how stupid are you? It doesn't matter how you got them into bed. What matters is you did it within your daughter's narrow social circle. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then another person says, AITA, you groomed her friend. Congrats on losing your daughter from being a disgusting old man. And then and then he says, what? That's a brutal and false allegation. I had no romantic contact either of my fiance until she was 22 and first solicited me. She first solicited me, Your Honor.
Wow. Okay.
Officer. She solicited me, officer. She came on to me.
She's a temptress.
She's a Lolita Jezebel. And just so
wow. Okay.
So yeah, that this guy needs to go away.
Yep.
So yeah, butthole. Get him out of my face. Get him out of my face.
Next one.
Get him out of my face. I don't want to see your face anymore. Vamp, Clara. You're not vamping.
Oh. Hey.
AITA for reminding my friend that she married for intelligence and look where it got her. That was terrible, by the way. And then she said, okay, so AITA for reminding my friend that she married for intelligence and look where it got her. Okay. So OP is a 35 female, met my husband Vince, who's 36 male, after he saved me from drowning at a pool party when I was 18. That's a very nice, meet cute.
Yeah.
I took him out for lunch the following week to thank him for saving me, and we soon fell in love and began dating. At the time, Vince worked at a blue-collar job while I was studying in university. We ended up getting married, and Vince supporting me throughout my entire education up until I got my PhD. Vince always told me that he wanted to study in university but had learning disabilities that made it difficult for him to study in a classroom. At times, he was embarrassed by the fact that he had to work twice as hard compared to people around him. But I always found that to be admirable about him. When I finished my studies, I got a well-paying job. I convinced Vince to give his dream of studying another go. Last year, he was finally accepted into a nursing program at our local university. He's working hard to achieve him dream, and I'm incredibly proud of him. Last week, my friend Alba, who's 36 female, came to visit with her son and our children. To our children with her son, so our children could play together. Alba was my roommate during the first year in university. She began dating her husband, Leo, around the same time I started dating Vince. Leo was an obnoxious law student who later on became an even more obnoxious attorney.
Yep.
He was a know-it-all who prided himself on his intelligence, which for some reason attracted Alba. At the time, Alba would sometimes tease me that I could do better than Vince, and I would offer to set me up with one of Leo's law school buddies, but I would always refuse, and she eventually dropped the subject. Alba and Leo are currently going through a nasty divorce that stems from him cheating on her. Mm-hmm. Quite frankly, he is digging her through the mud and is using connections to try to leave her as penniless as possible.
Yep.
As we were chatting and catching up, Alba began to express concern over the fact that my eldest son, who is 7, is recently diagnosed with dyslexia. Alba began telling me how she is worried that my son will be academically challenged like his father.
Wow.
And what that could entail for his future. Before I could respond, she told me that I should have married someone smart while I had the chance so I could have kids like hers. Alba's son is an incredibly bright boy with straight A student. I told Alba her advice was unnecessary and reminded her where marrying for intelligence got her. I then proceeded to tell her that I would rather have my son grow up to be an honest, hardworking person like his father than an academically gifted jerk who wasn't smart enough to know sleeping with his secretary could have had consequences on his marriage like her husband. What are you doing with that Allen wrench?
Playing with the cats.
Oh, jeez. We're doing a podcast. You can't be playing with the cats with the Allen wrench.
I have to, or else they'll start scratching things.
So Alba was deeply hurt by what I've said and stormed out with her son. So mutual friends are now chiming in and telling me I was too harsh on Alba for using her failing marriage to prove my point and should apologize.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah. What do you think?
I don't know. Sounds like she was dishing it out and she couldn't take it.
Yeah. Another person who can take it, who can dish it out but can't take it. Dude, like, dyslexia isn't the end of the world. Also,
first of all, anybody could... Actually, you know what? Never mind. I don't know how dyslexia works. I don't know if it's genetic or not.
Dyslexia is it's not the end of the world.
It's not.
There
are ways to work around it.
Yeah, guess what? It's not the 90s or the 80s anymore. People have dyslexia-friendly fonts now that they can provide for the students, and they can accommodate them.
Yeah. There are accommodations available.
We have accommodations. We have entire departments dedicated to that kind of stuff. It's not like the old days where this person's gonna have a rough go at it, and not anymore. And also insulting her OP's husband by saying he's a dumb dummy, even though he sounds like he's actually a very smart guy.
Sounds like he's smart. He just, doesn't learn like everybody else.
Mm-hmm. Which...
That doesn't make him dumb.
Which is not the case anymore. You don't... there are ways to do that now.
There are alternative ways of learning.
Nowadays, and that the more accepted in the current educational system. There
still needs to be a lot of stuff done to help people. We still have a standard that we follow, which isn't necessarily great, but it's a lot better than it was in the past.
Mm-hmm. And then also, and then, is he smart or is he like me? Remember that film?
What's that? Is that Forrest Gump?
It's Forrest Gump, yeah.
Okay, I never saw Forrest Gump, actually.
It's a great film.
So I've heard.
And, yeah, I don't think this person's OP is the butthole.
I don't think so.
I think she just told threw the hot cold water at her and really just told her the truth.
Told her like it is.
You married a major butthole, and this is what happens.
Where it got you. Marrying for the smarts.
Marrying for the smart. Yeah, because marrying for the smarts can be as bad as marrying for the looks.
You gotta take a person's entirety into their account.
Mm-hmm. We have an update.
Okay, let's hear it.
First of all, I want to thank you for your replies, parentheses, which I think is like a smiley face.
Yes, it is.
I want to express a couple things. Many of you asked why Alba and I remain friends despite her previous remarks. Alba and I grew apart during our third year in university. We only remain friends by association since we have a lot of shared mutual friends. We became close again after our sons started playing basketball together at the local community center. Became friends. I figured that becoming a mother made her more mature, and she didn't give me any reason to suspect otherwise. I've decided to send her a message saying that the way she spoke about my husband and son was unacceptable, and therefore she is no longer welcome in my home. However, I don't want our sons to lose their friendship, and therefore I am willing to maintain civil around the kids and will ignore organized playdates. She didn't reply to me just yet, but I truly hope she loves her son enough to put her ego aside and remain civil for the sake of our kids. I've yet to notify Vince about this entire situation since he's vigorously studying for an important quiz that's coming up next week. And I know that if he heard what Alba said about him and our boy, it would make him upset and he won't be able to continue studying properly unless something crazy happens. In the meantime, I'll probably update him next week after he's done with the quiz. Okay, well, there's that. Well, that was very nice of you. Do it for the kids. Alright, people of Reddit, see what they say. Okay. I can just say that intelligence doesn't have anything to do with dyslexia. That incredibly intelligent people can have it. And they can also have other learning disorders or be kinetic learners. Because for her to say that your husband isn't intelligent is just a level of buttholery that's completely unacceptable. Having an education v. no education is also not a measure of intelligence. Trust me, I have a PhD too. I also have a lot of brilliant people without college diplomas. Now that my rant is over, Nata, and while certainly you should be concerned if your child is has a learning disability, you should pursue support for him. That doesn't make him stupid or otherwise lacking. Alright, what are you ready? Another person says, she insults your husband and your son and then gets mad when you point out the qualities that she seems to think are lacking are the same ones that have her going through a really bad divorce. You're not harsh enough. Nata! And you don't need friends like her. Mm-hmm. Yeah, you don't need friends like that. Nope. Get her out of her face. I mean, I'm sure her son is pretty cool, though.
Yeah, probably.
And then another person says, just chiming in to say that your husband sounds amazing and I hope he thrives in his nursing program. Totally Nata. And then OP responds with, thank you so much. He is a really amazing person and I'm glad to have him in my life. Colon parentheses, which I think is a smiley face.
Yes, it is a smiley face.
And yeah, that's that. Moving on. AITA for telling my son that I have no plans to motivate or support him after he's an adult. Okay. My oldest kid is a good kid. He's kind of lazy. His mom always protected him. She has her reasons. Her first husband and child passed away about 22 years ago.
Ooh, yeah.
2 years after we met, fell in love, got married, and had a kid. Unfortunately for me, our son's birth was a catalyst for aggression for her. He could do no wrong. If I tried to punish or even just correct him, she would get upset and start crying or fight with me. If he found something difficult and wanted him to work through it and try harder, she would step in and tell me to back off or actually just do it for him. This led to our divorce, and I wanted to be a father and not a spectator. She fought so I couldn't get custody. I ended up with visitation. My kid wouldn't do anything, though. He wouldn't bring his homework over, and all he wanted to do was play video games. If I didn't let him, he had tantrums. It was exhausting, and she would always back him up. It was always my fault. I remarried to my wife, Diane. We have 2 children and are doing our best to raise them right. My son stopped coming over when he was 14. I still invite him, but he rarely responds. My child support just stopped. His mom has been giving it to him to do whatever he wanted for the last 3 years.
Wow.
Not my problem. He called me, see if I can help him with money. I asked what for. He said that his mom can give him the allowance he is used to. I asked him if he was going to be attending some sort of post-secondary school. He said no. And then I told him to get a job. His mom lost her poop. She said she will take me back to court so that her poor baby can live his life his way. I wished for the odds to be ever in her favor. That's stupid. That's kind of cringe.
Yeah.
Come on, dude.
Okay.
Like, what is this, like, 2012 call, they want their references back. And hung up. Now that he is an adult, I never have to talk to him again. It's too bad because I loved her very much. Not anymore. My son asked me to help him find a job. I said I would. I told him to send me his resume. I've been waiting 3 weeks for it. He called me yesterday to see if I made any progress in finding him a job. He said he never sent me his resume. He got upset that I hadn't reminded him. It was one thing. I told him that I was not going to motivate him to do anything. That I would be here if he needed help, but it would never be money again. I let him come over and helped him with a resume. I also talked to him about trades or community college. He's beginning to understand how effed his future is now that his mom cannot do everything for him. He is upset with his mother now because he doesn't have life skills. She is mad at me for showing him the truth. Okay, so I have to give props to this kid, or not a kid anymore, this college-age adult for seeing what the truth was.
Yep.
And being open to his father's thing.
Yep.
By saying, like, oh, snap, I have 0 life skills.
I don't know how to do anything.
Yeah. And he's like, oh, no. And I think that's the first step. Why are you doing that? Why are you closing?
Don't worry about it.
Oh, gosh. And that's the first step of being improving, which means that he will get there eventually. It'll be a lot longer than most people, but he will get there.
He got a late start.
And that's nothing to sneeze at as long as he knows what's good. And it's good that he knows that.
Yep.
So I think good job, good kid. W kid.
Win for that kid, for sure.
L mom, though.
L on the mom, yeah.
And I think the dad was right. I think the mom really over coddled this kid.
Yep.
And I do think it's really good that the kid knows what happened, and that he's taking the steps to correct that. To
become a better person. Be able to live properly.
Okay, so see what the people... definitely not the butthole.
No.
Nata! At least your son is beginning to realize the downside of having someone follow you around and wiping your backside all your life. He's beyond the curve, but he can turn it around if he wants. And then he wrote, and then he quote unquote, I let him come over, helped him with his resume. I also talked to him about his trades, communities, blah, 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 blah. He's upset with his mother now because he doesn't have a skill. Okay, and then, well, some of that anger is misplaced. Your son was happy happy as a clam living on Easy Street. The light bulb in his head turned on when the source of his generous allowance dried up. He went to school, his classmates had jobs and were applying to colleges and universities while he was playing video games. I don't know. I don't want to blame the kid too much.
Yeah.
Nata, at least he seems like he starts realizing life is for him to manage. I know people who are almost 40 and still count on their mom to solve their problems.
Mm-hmm.
Nata, sounds like mom wanted a lifetime of codependency. Son is breaking free. Will be hard for him, but money is not the only issue. As I am sure you know, I hope he is in therapy and go to work on the mental game. Okay.
Okay.
Good job. Not the butthole.
Not the butthole.
You get a thumbs up. Good parenting.
Yep.
And good on the kid for realizing what's happened.
Absolutely.
How can I reestablish the person is 47 female contact with my 30 female daughter?
Okay.
Oh gosh. Okay. I had my daughter at a young age. At the what?
Disgusting.
Disgusting. Is that what you meant to say?
No.
I had my daughter at a young age. In the beginning, we were extremely close, like any mother and child should be.
Mm-hmm.
Things changed when I got married. My husband didn't treat her the best, and he didn't want to be a stepfather. We ended up having our own kids, and things got so bad, she eventually taken in by her friends' parents, and they became her legal guardian. The biological dad wasn't interested in taking her. We slowly fell out of contact with her. I got updates from my mom, who's still heavily involved in my daughter's life. She had finished medical school and residency. She's married and her husband is also very successful. I'm so proud of the woman my daughter became. This absolutely needs to be said. I was completely wrong to defend his disgusting behavior. We have grown, but both understand we can't change the past, and it's long overdue that we establish a relationship with her. Okay, and that's it. That's where it ends.
Oh.
Okay, why are you asking us for?
Yeah.
Just do it.
Yeah. Just reach out.
I don't know. Use a phone call or something. Okay. I don't know. And then, okay, so the Reddit says, and in quotes, I was completely wrong to defend his disgusting behavior. And then he said, well, I think your responsibility goes beyond simply defending your husband's behavior. You're basically abandoning your daughter. Probably you will need to own up to that because I doubt she will allow you to shift all the blame onto him. That is true. And then OP responded, but then deleted it.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. And then in response, then another person says, quote, things changed when I got married. My husband didn't treat her the best and didn't want to be a stepfather, blah, 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 blah. And then then he responds with, things just got bad, huh? That's a pretty crucial part of the story. Accepting responsibility for what you did and what you failed to do seems like a step you're going to have to take. Might not be enough, though. I wouldn't blame her if it isn't enough for her, but it's a start. So, yeah, there's kind of like a good chunk missing in this story.
Yeah, there's a lot not being said.
So, I think the mom here, OP, wants to scapegoat her husband for everything. Mm-hmm. She wants to come back and say like, I wanted to be your mom, but this guy wouldn't let me, so yeah.
Yep.
Another person says, if she wanted to have a relationship with her abusive butthole mother and stepdad, she would do it through Gama. I don't know what that means. Leave her alone. You don't even get to be proud. You had nothing to do with her success. She is doing well in life in spite of you. If you want to do anything, send a long apologetic letter to her Gama and leave it there. I don't know what that means.
I don't, me neither.
So yeah, that's that. Let's see what this guy says. He says, quotes, in the beginning we were extremely close like any mother son. Cut to, my husband didn't treat her the best. We ended up having our own kids, yada yada yada. And then this person says, yeah, I'm a call BS on the beginning of the post, at least the way it's meant to be read. This is not a good mother and possibly never was. She married and stayed with a man who didn't want to be a stepfather and eventually And eventually her daughter was abused, neglected, whatever, and taken in by good people. And then, quote unquote, we have grown. And then he said, right. So we, quote unquote, understand we can change the past. Always fun when abusers claim to have grown, parentheses, not changed, of course, parentheses, close parentheses. And it's now up to the abused victim to get off their butts and forgive them already. It's all in the past anyway. Who cares? I really don't like the grandma passing on life updates. I don't care if the daughter approved of it. Don't do that. Thoughts?
Yeah.
We have grown. I really effing doubt that.
Sounds like a bunch of BS.
A lot of people are also saying that it's a money thing also.
Mm-hmm.
That she's only like wanting to come out
to now that she's successful.
She's quote unquote successful. We haven't seen, there's no mention of anything with money involved, but
there's just so much information that's not said that I don't know or understand.
Though I think like success does equal money, but I think so, but that's not really explicitly said. So yeah, I do think OP is kind of a butthole for that.
Yep.
So yeah, butthole. Maybe you should. I don't know why you want to do it
this time around.
Yeah. Yeah. That's it. Who was the biggest butthole?
Definitely the guy marrying his daughter's best friend.
Yeah, that was definitely the biggest butthole.
That was definitely the biggest butthole.
Yeah. Followed by I want to creep on my partner.
Yeah. Followed by give me your password.
Or else
give me your new phone password, or else I will be upsetty spaghetti.
You'll be upsetty spaghetti.
Yes. Give me your new phone password, please.
Okay. And then so that's it for this week. I've been Nathaniel Avila,
and I have been Clara Avila,
and we'll see you guys next time. Bye.
Thank you for listening to a Vision podcast, home of wacky talkies, The Kingdom, Evil Exists, and many more.